allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Here.
Councilman McCarthy?
Here.
Councilman Wareheim?
Here.
Councilman Creighton?
Here.
Councilman Malloy?
Here.
Before we go to the public hearing portion, we'll resolve two issues with the Board of Water Commissioners. Mr. Creighton.
Number one, transfer from personnel salaries, the amount of $10,720
Two accruals.
to accruals for the Smithtown Water District. And number two, transfer from personnel salaries, the amount of $200 and
Office supplies.
to office supplies in the Smithtown Water District.
Councilman Malloy?
Yes.
Councilman Creighton?
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have a first public hearing, and that's to consider a zone petition as submitted by Christopher Bradshaw to amend condition number 2A of a previously approved change of zone permission, as so to expand the existing dwelling on property located on the southwest corner of Old Dock Road and Upper Dock Road in Kings Park. Someone here on behalf of the petitioner?
75 East Main Street, Kings Park, New York. Back in 1992, this board was kind enough to change the zone from from R10 to neighborhood business for Butch Beneziana, who's sitting here. And it was his intention to live there and run a canoe business out of the place. That did not materialize, and he's entered into a contract with Chris Bradshaw, who would like to expand the house for his own purposes, for his family and his wife and two kids. I want to hand up some photos, if I may, to the board. Chris, I don't know if you guys know it, but he bought the Bernstein building, which is across from my office, which was a train wreck for 24 years. And I have photos of the old building and the new building that he revamped in downtown Kings Park, and I know that he'll do the same thing. The existing building is 2,689 square feet. There's a small detached garage of 411 square feet for a total of 3,100 square feet. Chris would like to add another 1,383 square feet to the house, put a garage to the right of the existing house as you face it, for a total additional square footage of 1,881 square feet. The reason we're here tonight is that there were, when the decision was rendered, 2A says that the house had to remain at the same size. We'd like to expand it. He did get certain business uses there. I got him an apartment upstairs for Butch years after. We're willing to give the apartment up. And we were supposed to build, if the canoe business came in, a little barn, a 900-square-foot barn to the right of the existing house. We don't care about that if that goes away. He'd just like to expand this house, move in there, and he does terrific work, and reserve the possible limited business uses that were granted in the original change of zone. In the event down the years, 10 years, 15, 20 years, he can use that as a water-related possible business. So if you guys see fit, we'd appreciate very much if you'd give him this expansion. Thank you.
Okay, anyone wish to be heard on this petition in the audience? If not, then I'll move to close the hearing.
Second.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim?
Yes.
Councilman Creighton?
Yes.
Councilman Malloy?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next public hearing is to consider a petition of number 2011-4 submitted by the Indian Head Family LLC for change of zone from R6, which means residential townhouse zoning, to residential garden apartment zoning on property located on the west side of Indian Head Road, 1,469 feet south of Ellen Place, Kings Park.
Good evening, Mr. Supervisor. Vincent Pizzulli for Indian Head Family, 90 Merrick Avenue, East Meadow, New York. Let the record reflect that I'm handing up the affidavit of posting and mailing. Before I begin, I'd also like to hand up to the board print copies of the elevation drawings of the proposed buildings. I have a couple of extra copies if anyone wants to see. The subject property is a 3.79 acre parcel on the west side of Indian Head Road, approximately 1,470 feet south of Ellen Place in Kings Park. To the south of the site is the Superior Ice Rink, which is zoned light industrial. To the west is the Country Point development, which is zoned R6, and to the north is an industrial building zoned light industrial. The site was originally zoned light industrial and was rezoned to R6 on March 29, 2007. At that time, the applicant planned to develop 20 townhouses, but the approval coincided with the onset of the current recession and the housing market abated. In its original approval for the townhouse development, the town board required the applicant to design predominantly smaller, more economical one-bedroom units in order to make the units more saleable to first-time homebuyers and senior citizens. In its memo to the board, the planning department indicated that it would also support a request for RMGA zoning if the units were also proposed to be smaller and more economical, regardless of the form of ownership. Consistent with the planning department's recommendation, the applicant has submitted the current petition, which would allow for the development of 36 apartment units in 3 buildings in the same layout that was previously approved for townhouses. The proposed unit mix is as follows: 28 one-bedroom units at 714 square feet each, and 8 two-bedroom units at 935 square feet each. The current proposal is based on the concept that smaller units, either rental or co-op, will provide more affordable housing options for town residents for whom the average single-family home is either unnecessary or too expensive. Because the units will be smaller and more economical to build, there is no need for any governmental subsidies or regulations to mandate affordability. The proposed development will be a market-rate project. The rents have not been determined yet. The final calculations will have to account not only for the cost of construction of the units, but also for the cost of the sewage treatment plant and off-site improvements. On June 15, 2011, the Planning Board recommended approval of this petition with conditions. The only condition we question, not necessarily object to, is the requirement that the site plan provide for a bus, shelter, or turnout. We don't know if our site frontage is the right location, and we don't know what the cost will be. If it's just a widening of the road shoulder and or a kiosk, this should be fine. Our site plan and elevation drawings are on display. As you can see, the buildings will have the look and feel of a townhouse development, and the STP will be fully screened from view. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
There are some people who wish to be heard on this matter. Please understand that you have 3 minutes to speak. So the first person asking to speak is Michael Antidormi.
Hi, Mike Antidormi. I'm at 11 Bruce Lane South. We had some of the neighbors wanted me, I guess, to come here and request some information. Predominantly, that area is townhouse. There are other townhouses located, developments in that area. I guess you want to say the current mentality in the area is they prefer people to own these houses. I guess there's a prevailing fear of Section 8. I don't know how many Section 8 rentals there'll be, which could impact security in the area and also property values in the area. So if anyone could address that to us.
Okay.
That's it?
I'll try. I don't know. Section 8 is a government program which subsidizes apartments to the value of what the apartment is. So if I might give you an example, and please don't hold me to the example, if the builder believes that the apartment is worth $1,500 a month and the applicant can only pay $4 or $5, then the federal government will pay the difference. So there's no question of diminution of the kind of housing you're talking about. The housing is well made and good housing. But will the builder, you might answer that question, will the builder or developer request Section 8 application?
No, Supervisor. As I indicated in my presentation, there will be no governmental subsidies of this project.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you. Debbie Marshall wishes to be heard on the same subject. Is there a Debbie Marshall here? Come on, no, let's hear from you. Don't be afraid. Okay, you don't wish to be heard? Okay. Dr. Robert Wendt? Manitou Trail, that must be in the place. That must be in.
Hello, everyone. My name's Dr. Robert Wendt. I'm a member of the
Closer to
community.
the mic, sir.
Hello, I'm Dr. Robert Wendt. I'm a member of the community. I live in Country Point condominiums. I own many LLCs, real estate, properties. At the beginning, when I have ventured into this kind of thing, I have tried to rent it to the community, and then there's a certain number of rentals that I couldn't, and then I changed to Section 8, where I've had to subsidize the rent to the government. So things change sometimes. Also, number two, on another point, as an owner of a property, we care about our property and we upkeep our property. As a renter, you don't. So that would be a negative about that. And it also would bring a different element to the community. And there are many rental properties, like Fairfield properties, that these people could be in. So therefore, I would be opposed to the properties. I own about 15 houses and 4 LLCs that I deal with. So I am very informed upon the issues. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Directed by Francis Marconi, and he's against it also, so I'm going to put that in the record.
Okay. Anyone else on this matter?
You're curious.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You have to come up. Please give your name and address to the...
Bridget Graham, 48 West Drive. I live just north of that area. I'm a little bit concerned as well as what they're claiming as if it's going to be a low-income housing for rental. So I would be opposed to it as well because I'm concerned about property values and families moving in there and impacting our school district, which is already, I feel, overcrowded as well with the way the economy is. The teachers, the classroom sizes are increased, and I'd be concerned about how many families are going to be moving into these homes.
Okay, so let me just reply to two of you. There's no such thing as low-income housing anymore.
Okay.
It's as I explained to Mr. Antidormi how it works. I think there are 36 apartments. Is it 36? And I think the counselor has described that one apartment will be somewhere in the nature of 700 feet, one bedroom, and 850 feet, two bedroom. So that kind of eliminates children from the school
Okay.
district. And I think the planning people from the town kind of direct that smaller apartment so that it wouldn't have an impact on the community.
Okay.
Okay? Yes, ma'am. Would you like to come up?
Can you go to the
Come to the microphone, ma'am.
Give
We
me
have.
your name and address, please.
Yeah, Vinny.
Cheryl Rathowski, 42 West Drive. In response to what you, in response to what you just said, how do you know it can't be like a single mother moving in there with her child? You said it's not going to impact the school district. How could that be? It could be a single mother moving in with a child. That's enough room for her to move in.
Well, maybe. Okay, that's a good reply you have. But traditionally, small units don't draw children. That's
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
And the other units that they're going to have, the little bigger ones, is there going to be any kind of, like who sets the rules as to how many people are going to be in the bigger units?
I don't know if there were any rules. Counselor, do you want to address that?
I don't know of any rules per se in the zoning code or anywhere else that dictate that, but we have traditions and norms in our community. And by the way, the owner of this project is a resident of the town, and I will repeat, there will be no governmental subsidies. It will be a very attractive and well-maintained development. It's primarily geared towards attracting town residents, our sons and daughters. I have a niece who lives with my brother-in-law on Bruce Lane who would love to rent a unit in this project if it's ever built. I don't anticipate much population from outside the town because there's such a pent-up demand here that I feel that many folks from the Kings Park as well as other hamlets in the town are going to populate this development, as well as senior citizens who are looking to become empty nesters or have become empty nesters and are selling their homes. This presents another option for them to stay.
Thank you. Okay, I'll move to close the hearing.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy? Yes. Councilman Creighton?
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim?
Yes.
Councilman Malloy?
Yes.
The next public hearing is to consider proposed amendments to Chapter 112 of the Code of Town entitled Building Construction.
Good evening, Mr. Supervisor, members of the Town Board. I am Martin Simon, Assistant Town Attorney for the Town of Smithtown. The purpose of tonight's public hearing number 3 is the proposed amendment to Section 112 of the Town Code, specifically Section 112.11 entitled Fees. Section 112.11A2 concerning commercial buildings is to be amended to include a subsection J, which sets forth facade renovations, base fee of $125 and 15 cents per square foot of affected area. This concludes my presentation.
We're just raising the fee?
We're creating a specific fee for facade
okay.
renovations.
Okay.
That 15 cents a square foot, is that include, so is that in the first 125, or that's 125 plus 15 from square foot one?
125 plus 15.
From square foot one?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anyone wish to be heard on this hearing? I'll move to close it.
Second.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim?
Yes.
Councilman Creighton?
Yes.
Councilman Malloy?
Yes.
Next public hearing is for the Town Board to consider Year 38 Community Development Program.
Mr. Supervisor, members of the board, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Elaine Leonard. I am the principal planner in the Planning and Community Development Department. The purpose of tonight's hearing is to elicit comment on the request for funding for the upcoming Community Development Program year that begins in April of 2012, and to provide information about the process of choosing projects for that program year. The town of Smithtown is a member of the Suffolk County Consortium. As such, our proposed projects are submitted to the county for their approval and inclusion in the county's official submission to HUD, the Housing and Urban Development Department. The county's request must be ready in early January for a 30-day public review period, so we and the other consortium members must have our request ready shortly so that the county can complete the processing on schedule. You have before you a list of possible activity categories and their suggested budget ranges. We will forward a list of proposed projects prior to the board's meeting on December 13th for adoption at that meeting. The budget ranges suggested will, again, look familiar to you. The total likely funding is expected to be $359,935, which is more than had been anticipated, in part because the county has revised its allocation formula. The actual total funding cannot be known until late in spring of 2012, when HUD makes its allocations formally to the county. In considering projects for our program, we must make sure that two major requirements are satisfied. First, every project must qualify as a designated eligible activity, such as housing rehabilitation, infrastructure improvement, or handicapped access improvements. Second, every project must meet one of three specifically defined CD program objectives. These are benefit to low and moderate income persons, prevention or elimination of slums or blighting conditions, or meeting an urgent community development need, which means activities such as cleanup of storm damage or other disaster repairs. Standards for each of these objectives are defined in detail in federal rules and directives that outline additional restrictions on the eligibility of projects. That concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer questions.
Thank you. Board have any questions? No. Well, thank you. I'll move to close the hearing.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim?
Yes.
Councilman Creighton?
Yes.
Councilman Malloy?
Yes.
Okay, the town board to authorize the clerk to advertise for public hearing to be held at Town Hall on the 13th day of December to consider proposed amendments to Chapter 252-7 of the Code of the Town entitled Swimming Pools as it relates to fences.
Councilman Malloy?
Yes.
Councilman Creighton?
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio?
2, town board to authorize the clerk to advertise for public hearing to be held at Town Hall to consider proposed local law number 4 of 2011, amending local law 6 of 2007, entitled zoning as it relates to signs.
Councilman Malloy?
Yes.
Councilman Creighton?
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Yes. Town board to authorize the clerk to advertise for a public hearing to be held at Town Hall to consider proposed local law number 3 of 2011, chapter 112 of the code, and for building constructions as it relates to residential solar energy fast-track application process.
Councilman Malloy?
Yes.
Councilman Creighton?
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Yes, town board to authorize the clerk to advertise for the hearing to be held at the town hall on December 13th to consider proposed amendments to chapter 112-11 of the code entitled Building Construction as it relates to fees.
Councilman Malloy?
Yes.
Councilman Creighton?
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim? Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Okay, we have a building department report which is available in the town clerk's office for anyone's perusal. Town board to authorize the clerk to advertise the following bids to be returned to town hall on the dates indicated. Bid number 11, outboard motor, and that's returnable on December 8th, 2011. And bid number 74 for paint and stain, December 15th, 2011.
Councilman Malloy?
Yes.
Councilman Creighton?
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Town board to order the following bids and authorize the purchase of associated goods and services. Bid number 11064 for screen sand and salt. A bid 11065 for the stop program to Care Environmental. And bid number 11063 for refuse removal to Winter Brothers Recycling Corp.
Councilman Malloy?
Yes.
Councilman Creighton?
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim?
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy?
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio?
Yes, town board, after due study and deliberation of the subject record, to issue a negative declaration determination of non-significance in the following matters for reasons stated in the memorandum on the dates indicated. Town board's own motion for change of zone, 2011, to return a parcel from professional business to quarter acre. Site plan approval by Petrol Heating Oil. A special exception petition for batting cages by the Long Island Sports Arena. Site plan approval by Jared Robert for Long Island Window and Door. And the town board to issue a negative declaration in the matter of town board's own motion to purchase density flow rights from Suffolk County tax map as indicated for reasons as stated in the memorandum from the Assistant Environmental Director. And the town board, after due study and deliberation of the subject record, to issue a negative declaration in the matter of a change of zone position for the King Cullen Grocery Incorporated.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Warehime.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes. Town board to approve the following: a payment to Rayco Restoration and Construction, payment to the Leah Sod Farms, the town attorney or appropriate official to enter into a stipulation of settlement, and consent to an entry of order with regard to various tax certiorari matters per the recommendation of the sole assessor and the town attorney. The purchase of .75 flow rights. What .75 means what, Mr. DeRubies? Acreage? 0.75 acreage from the Smithtown Historical Society. Designate the following depositories: Capital One Bank, Chase Bank, and HSBC Bank. Schedule a work session for 10 a.m. on Tuesday, December 13th, on 2011. Approve a modification of the Community Development Program, year 36, to transfer $15,000. Approval of a zoning petition by the town of Smithtown for change of zone from professional business to residential zone, as stated in the memorandum from the planning director. Approval of a zoning position by King Cullen Grocery for change of zone, also approved by the planning director, dated November 17th. The town board to grant approval to zoning petition 2011-11 by the Long Island Sports Arena. The superintendent of highways to conduct snow and ice operations in subdivisions with undedicated roads. The highway department to purchase tools and equipment from Worth Supply Company, Mower Doctor, and Northeast Equipment, as detailed on the attached list.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Warehime.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes.
The town board to authorize the controller to execute the following as items number 5, A, a transfer, B would be an increase, C, D, E, F, and G are transfers, G is an increase, H is a transfer, I, J are transfers, K an increase, L transfer, M transfer, N a transfer, O an increase, P a transfer, Q, R, S, T, U are transfers, V declare a check in number 10260 posted in lieu of performance bond in default. W declare check number 1013 Washington Mutual Bank posted in lieu of performance bond. Declare irrevocable letter of credit. X, Y an increase, Z an increase, and double A. That's all 5A through Z, and double A of the printed agenda.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Warehime.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Number
Yes.
6, the town board to authorize the supervisor to execute the following in a form approved by the town attorney, 6A through D. A, hold harmless agreement with Smithtown Central School District. B, an addendum with Aflac. C, agreement with Patriot Courier Service. And D, consent to an easement.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Warehime.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes.
I have number 7, the town board to approve settlement in the following matters per recommendation of the town attorney as per 7A, B, and C for $2,500, $3,093.28, and $1,038.98.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Warehime.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
I have number 8, the town board to authorize the acceptance of the following 8A, B, C, and D. Passbook in lieu of performance bond. B, cashier's check. C, cash in lieu of performance bond. And D, cashier's check.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Warehime.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes.
Item number 9, the town board to authorize release of the following as per 9A through J of the printed agenda. A bank check. B, a bank check. C, certified check. D, money order. E, cashier's check. F, cashier's check. G, performance bond. H, passbook. I, release of escrow. And J, release of escrow as per the printed agenda.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Warehime.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes.
Under personnel, the town board to approve the following personnel matters as per intent A, B, and C: medical leave of absence, full-time appointment, and change of title.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.
Councilman Creighton.
Yes.
Councilman Warehime.
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy.
Yes.
Supervisor Vecchio.
Yes.
And under the Board of Site Plan Review agenda, we have 3 site plans: Cafe Havana, J. Narazzo Partnership, 7-Eleven, and 3 J. Narazzo Partnership, Chase Bank, to approve tonight.
Okay, wishing to be heard, is this Matthew Mager? Please come up.
I just wanted to make, Matthew Magor, I live on 83C Jefferson Avenue. I just wanted to make sure that on section V, V, it says,
There's a number before the V somewhere.
oh, number 5,
Okay.
I guess number 5, part V. It says declared check number 10-260 Citibank. I just want to make sure that I wanted to understand if the town was going to take that money from the bond to
Where, I can't see it. Where?
do the improvements that need to be done.
It's Reinhardt subdivision, it's in default, and yes, we are taking the money.
Yes, it's explained for that.
The answer is correct, that we plan to take that money.
Okay, you plan on taking that money?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
The next person to be heard is, I just saw it, Ann Reinhardt.
My name is Ann Reinhardt, and I reside at 83B Jefferson Avenue, which is the property adjacent to the development known as Reinhardt Estates. And I'm here to implore you to please expedite the release of these monies. This will be my 5th winter with 300 feet of mud and potholes in access to my house. It would be as if someone drove across your front lawn to build a house next to you and left your front lawn completely disrupted and a puddle of mud for you to live in for 4 years. For over 4 years, I've listened to Mr. Castellano, the builder, tell us lie after lie after lie that this project was going to be completed and that these monies would be addressed. And as a taxpayer in the town of Smithtown, my rights have not been protected, okay? I pay taxes. 3/4 of this proposed road is my property, okay? And I don't think that I have been represented fairly in terms of my right to have free access to my home. So I would ask you to strongly, number one, cease any business with this man, Lou Castellano, in the town of Smithtown. Okay? This has been nothing but a nightmare for myself and my family. My rugs in my house are destroyed. My son has lost a bumper off of his car as a result of the conditions that are necessary for us to get out of our house to the road. Okay? And I would ask that you do whatever is necessary to release these funds and get this road paved. I'm a nurse practitioner in the community. I care for many of your family members, including Mr. Vecchio's father-in-law, on a regular basis. And I really feel that my rights have been violated. So I ask you to please act on this promptly. Thank you.
Okay, but I just need, ma'am, Mrs. Reinhardt, Ms. Reinhardt, there's a process when somebody applies for building permits, and it's logical for the town to ask for performance bonds in the form of a cashier's check or money. And when the builder doesn't conform to what is required of him, we declare the money in default. Once that money is defaulted to us, we will give it to appropriate town departments to make the improvements that the builder should have made. So that's being done tonight.
I appreciate that. The only thing I would say is that in the future, okay, when the town recommends a project like this, not to let it impede an innocent party's property in the midst.
Okay.
And that's what's happened to us.
All right.
Okay? So I thank you for that.
Thank you. Okay. I'll move to close the hearing.
Second.
Meeting.
Vecchio,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
Yes.
Councilman Wareheim,
Yes.
Councilman Creighton,
Yes.
Councilman Malloy.
Yes.